All right, I just finished reading book four of the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Um, I will say it was some pretty profound stuff that he was talking about. More so, in a sense, at least what I derive from this particular book in the this book in the I don't want to call it a book. This is more of like a journal necessarily that was published. So, but for lack of better term, I'll just say the chapter of this book, so it's a little bit easier to digest. What I gained from it, or at least based on what he talked about and what I pulled from it, is that the essence of the life that we have in regards to the allotted amount of time we have is very minuscule. In reading through some of these pages, you can kind of see that some of his statements are very sorrow, but they're very truthful. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but in one of the pages, I forgot exactly what page it was. He was talking about how you could be alive for 3 years or three generations. It's all the same whenever it comes to an end. And as sorrow and truthful as it sounds, I mean, that's just what it is. Whether we live for a long time or a short time, everybody's days are numbered, and what we do with said time is up to us. And also in that he talks about perceiving the good and bad nature of, in a sense, what we experience. I did highlight a quote. I want to go back to it. Here it is. The quote goes, quote, "The world is nothing but change. Our life is only perception." End quote. It really doesn't get any more plain and simple than that. Um, he does talk. He talks a lot about change. He talks a lot about people changing, circumstances changing, and overall, not necessarily how we should navigate, but how we should have a sense of kind of stoicism. I want to say so, and just looking at a lot of the words that he's talking about, he says things about you know having a purpose, finding a purpose, having a sense of legacy, whether your time on this earth is short or long. When people remember you, how are they going to remember you? Are they going to remember you as somebody who just lived life willy nilly, no sense of direction, or somebody who was ordered, had structure, somebody who really cared about everything, but in the same breath, cared but didn't care too much? So it's not really a nonchalant versus chalant type of thing. It's more of a I'm able to navigate what life throws at me, right, wrong, good, bad, or indifferent, and I can continue to press on because life happens to everybody. It's gonna happen to me. It's gonna happen to you, um, regardless of whether we like the circumstances we're placed in, circumstances we're born into, the circumstances that may be on the other side of unknown decisions that we have made or will make in the future. But I definitely will say my main takeaway is perception. As somebody who overthinks a lot, perception is a big factor in how I move throughout day to day life. A little bit before the highlighted quote I had, let me see. One second, one second. Uh, all right, here we go. It says, "Things that have no hold on the soul, they stand there unmoving, outside it. Disturbance comes only from within, from our own perceptions." Now, this ties into the quote that I highlighted. That's why I highlighted it, because I feel like that's more of an umbrella for what he said prior to that quote. Just looking at it, like I said about the other quote, it's very true. A lot of the times, we amplify our circumstances based on how it is we perceive it. Something happens, we're like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. I can't believe this happened. Why would it happen to me? All of that internal chaos, that internal distraught, that turmoil or what have you brewing inside your mind, inside your body, inside your soul, and how you just think about and how you perceive what it is that happened to you is where the root of all, well, I'm not going to say all of our disturbance, but at least our perceived disturbance lies. Um, Even me, I've had some, I mean, we've all had times, but more recently, I kind of go through this on a day to day life, just being more personal. I do experience a lot of disturbance, mainly internally. Like I said previously, I'm an overthinker. Um, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, a lot of stuff I plan to achieve, a lot of things I'm unsure about. Experiencing life for the first time, we're all doing it. So it's not necessarily right or wrong to have this internal disconnect with how we perceive things and what they actually are. Um, it's more about managing more so than um fleeting those perceptions, because while those perceptions aren't necessarily good or bad, that's just what we have. So being able to manage how we perceive our lived experience is something that would definitely take us farther in not only us becoming better as people, but just how we're able to kind of take things on the chin. Not necessarily you go through experience and it's like, oh, okay, whatever, it is what it is. Because really and truly behind every it is what it is behind every it is what it is disturbance. I've I definitely have an account of, it gets to a point where there's too many, or you've reached a limit on how many there is what it is, um, things you can say, and it just hits you. That disturbance, that internal turmoil and chaos finally comes to light. They say, in a sense, whatever is done in the dark or whatever's in the dark will be brought to light. That disturbance will eventually be brought to light, whether you like it or not. That could be through anything. That could be through, um, off the top of my head, people who indulge in drinking or any type of other outlets, violence, um, journaling. So it's many different ways that disturbance can be um, brought to the forefront in a more public manner. But I kind of feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but um, I really like talking about what I read. This is something new that I've tried, at least recording it, because we think about what we read, but we don't really verbalize it. So I'm kind of just ranting right now. I have no idea how long this segment is. I'm not gonna look until I finish. But what are some other things that I pulled from here? Um, I think at least from what my initial read is, of course, I'll probably go back and look at different entries and different texts and different sections and stanzas and things of that nature. But at least based on what I've derived from that specific chapter or book is just perception, managing perception, and how we move throughout life and encounter different lived experiences. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else to say or anything else to um, pull from the chapter, because I've already talked about what I pulled on an initial read. I definitely encourage everyone to, and of course I'm talking to myself while talking to the camera. Um, try to be more aware, try to be more aware of how you perceive um, different things, because it really can harm you. Um, I've definitely had some times where my perception amplified my I think my I thought my camera died, or my computer rather. But there's been some times where my perception has definitely amplified the lived experience, and it's definitely gotten the best of me. Not in the sense of like something tragic, like I wanted to leave, depart from the earth or anything. It's just these things build up, these things fester, and if you don't deal with the wound, it'll get infected, for lack of a better term. So just be a little bit more aware of how you perceive things. Do things that can kind of ease that perception. Of course, us living through life, perception is just part of it. We a lot of times we'll take things to heart. Take things to heart depending on the type of person you are. It may impact you more than others. Um, but just managing that, trying to be better. Um, but yeah, that's just about it. It's September 3rd, 11:29 p.m. I would say I'm gonna go to bed, but I have some work I need to do. Great college student. So everybody take care. Take care of yourselves. God bless.